Have you ever loved someone deeply only to realize you can't be with them? The connection feels so real, so undeniable, yet life pulls you apart, whether it's timing, circumstances, or something deeper within you. It's heartbreaking, isn't it? But what if the universe sent them for a reason beyond staying together? Carl Jung taught us that these unattainable relationships aren't accidents. They're sacred awakenings, orchestrated to help us grow in ways we never would otherwise. They stir our souls, forcing us to face truths we've buried and guide us toward a truer version of ourselves. In this video, we'll explore 5 profound reasons the universe sends you someone you can't be with, helping you find meaning in the pain. I'm here to walk you through this journey, step by step. Let's begin with reason 1, to awaken your hidden truths. The first reason the universe sends you someone you can't be with is to awaken your hidden truths, those parts of yourself you've buried deep inside. Carl Jung believed that meaningful connections rise from the unconscious, acting as mirrors to reflect what we've ignored, our fears, wounds, and forgotten dreams. When you meet someone who stirs a profound connection, it's not just about love. It's about what they bring to the surface. Suddenly, insecurities you thought you'd healed, like fear of abandonment, or dreams you abandoned, like a passion for art, start whispering back to you. I've seen this in so many lives. There was a woman named Linda in her late 50s who fell deeply for a man she couldn't be with due to their different life paths. Their brief time together brought up a longing she'd suppressed for years to travel the world, something she'd given up for her family. At first, she was heartbroken, but Jung would say this wasn't a loss, it was a revelation. That relationship cracked open her shell, forcing her to face the truth she'd buried. She wasn't living the life she truly wanted. Jung taught us that these connections aren't random. They're orchestrated by the universe to push us toward growth. The person you can't be with isn't there to complete you. They're there to show you what's incomplete, what needs attention. Maybe they awaken your ability to feel again after years of numbness, or they stir a rage you've suppressed, urging you to set boundaries. It's painful to love someone you can't keep, but that pain isn't a mistake. It's a doorway to the truths you've hidden from yourself. You might feel torn, wanting to hold on to them, but Jung would remind us that their purpose wasn't to stay, it was to wake you up. So, if you're mourning someone you can't be with, ask yourself, what truths did they awaken in me? That's where your journey begins, and it's a sign the universe is guiding you towards something greater. As those hidden truths start to surface, you'll see there's a deeper purpose behind this connection, one that shapes you through its challenges. Moving on to reason 2, to push growth through pain. As those hidden truths come to light, the universe has another reason for sending someone you can't be with, to push your growth through pain, a necessary step for true transformation. Carl Jung understood that real growth doesn't happen in comfort. It often comes through the breaking, the longing, the unanswered questions that force us into depths we'd never explore otherwise. When you love someone you can't have, the pain of that loss isn't a punishment. It's a catalyst designed to propel you toward a deeper version of yourself. I've seen this in so many lives I've witnessed. There was a man named Edward in his early 60s who fell for a woman he met at a community event, but their circumstances, she was moving abroad, made it impossible to stay together. The heartbreak was crushing, but through it, Edward realized he'd been avoiding his own loneliness for years, filling his life with distractions. That pain forced him to face himself, to start therapy, and to finally pursue a dream of writing he'd put off for decades. Jung would say, "This is the universe." At work, using loss to spark growth. The person you can't be with breaks the shell you've built around yourself, exposing wounds you've buried, like fear of rejection or self-doubt, and dreams you've abandoned. It hurts because it touches your deepest hopes, the hope that love will fix everything. But Jung taught us that the universe doesn't prioritize comfort over transformation. It sends these connections to tear apart what's false, leaving you raw but ready to rebuild on a truer foundation. You might wonder why the universe couldn't teach you without breaking your heart, but growth often needs that fracture to let the light in. That pain is where you find your strength, where you discover parts of yourself you'd never have faced in a comfortable, easy relationship. So, if you're grieving someone you can't be with, trust that the pain has a purpose. It's pushing you to grow in ways you never would have without them. With that growth unfolding through the pain, you'll start to see there's another lesson this connection came to teach, one that reshapes your understanding of love itself. Now, let's explore reason 3. To teach the lesson of love and letting go. With that growth through pain unfolding, the universe sends someone you can't be with for another profound reason, to teach you the lesson of love and letting go, showing you that true love doesn't always mean holding on. Carl Jung believed that the deepest connections often serve a higher purpose, guiding us toward awakening rather than permanence. When you meet someone you can't be with, the intense love you feel isn't meant to lead to a shared life. It's meant to show you that love can be a doorway, not a destination. I've seen this in so many lives I've witnessed. There was a woman named Clara, in her late 60s, who met a man at a retreat, and their connection was instant, like they'd known each other forever. But he was already committed to someone else, and Clara knew they couldn't be together. She was devastated, but through the pain, she learned something powerful. She could love him deeply and still let him go, wishing him well without resentment. Jung would say this is the universe teaching you that love isn't about possession. It's about growth for both of you. Your heart craves permanence, but your soul craves truth. And sometimes those desires clash. You might feel torn, wanting to hold on to this person, to make it work despite the odds. But Jung taught us that real love sometimes means releasing someone so you can both evolve. This lesson is hard. It forces you to face the reality that you can love someone with all your heart and still not be meant to walk the same path. But that letting go isn't a failure. It's an act of courage, a recognition that their purpose in your life was to awaken you, not to stay. The universe sends these connections to show you that love can be a transformative force, even when it doesn't last. So, if you're struggling to let go of someone you can't be with, honor the love you felt. It was real, but its true gift was the lesson it brought, guiding you toward a deeper understanding of what love really means. As you learn to love and let go, you'll discover this connection came to show you something even more intimate about yourself, something you might have otherwise ignored. Here's reason 4: to mirror your unfinished parts. As you learn to let go with love, the universe has another reason for sending someone you can't be with, to mirror your unfinished parts. reflecting the aspects of yourself that need healing or growth. Carl Jung taught that our deepest connections act as mirrors, showing us the unconscious parts we've hidden, our fears, patterns, and unhealed wounds. When you meet someone you can't be with, the intensity of that bond often brings these parts to the surface, forcing you to confront what you've been avoiding. I've seen this in so many lives. There was a man named Thomas in his early 70s who fell for a woman he met through a friend, but their lives were too different to make it work. She was a free spirit, while he craved stability. Their brief connection stirred up his fear of change, a fear he'd buried since losing his job years ago. At first, he was angry, blaming her for disrupting his life, but Jung would say she was a mirror, reflecting his need to face that fear. Jung believed that these relationships aren't just about the other person. They're about you, showing you where you're still incomplete. Maybe this person mirrors your self-sabotage, like always choosing unavailable partners, or your fear of vulnerability, pushing you to open your heart despite the risk. They might reflect dreams you've suppressed, like a longing for adventure, or wounds you've ignored, like a belief you're not enough. The pain of not being with them isn't random. It's a call to look within, to see what they've awakened. You might want to hold on to them, to keep that mirror close. But Jung would remind us that their role was to show you what needs healing, not to heal it for you. That's your work. So, if you can't stop thinking about someone you can't be, ask, what are they showing me about myself? What do I need to heal or reclaim? That reflection is the universe's gift, guiding you toward wholeness, even through the pain of loss. With those mirrors guiding your healing, you'll see this connection was leading you to something even greater, a journey that reshapes your entire sense of self. Finally, let's wrap up with reason 5, to lead you to individuation. With those mirrors guiding your healing, the universe sends someone you can't be with for a final, profound reason, to lead you to individuation, the journey to becoming your truest self. Carl Jung taught that individuation is the ultimate goal of the soul, a process of integrating all parts of yourself, light and shadow, to become whole. When you meet someone you can't be with, their presence often acts as a turning point, pushing you toward this sacred journey. They awaken you to who you're meant to be, even if they can't stay to see it through. I've seen this in so many lives I've witnessed. There was a woman named Margaret in her late 60s who met a man at a poetry reading, and their connection was electric, but he was only in town for a month. Their brief time together rekindled her love for writing, something she'd abandoned after a painful rejection years ago. She was heartbroken when he left, but that heartbreak inspired her to start writing again, eventually publishing a book that brought her deep fulfillment. Jung would say this man was a catalyst for her individuation, helping her reclaim a part of herself she'd lost. These relationships don't fit neatly into your life because they're not meant to. They're meant to disrupt, to tear down illusions, to push you toward authenticity. They might awaken your creativity, your courage, or your capacity to love without fear, showing you what's possible when you live as your truest self. The pain of losing them isn't the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter, one where you're more whole, more aligned with your essence. Jung believed that the universe sends these connections to guide us toward individuation, not to complete us, but to help us complete ourselves. So, if you're grieving someone you can't be with, look at the bigger picture. How have they led you closer to who you're meant to be? That's the universe's ultimate gift, leading you to the life you were always meant to live. The universe works in mysterious ways, and these 5 reasons to awaken your hidden truths, push growth through pain, teach love and letting go, mirror your unfinished parts, and lead you to individuation. Show why it sends someone you can't be with. Carl Jung taught us that these connections aren't failures, they're sacred catalysts, guiding us toward a truer version of ourselves. If you're mourning a love you couldn't keep, trust that the pain has a purpose. It's shaping you into who you're meant to be. Start small. Reflect on what this relationship awakened in you, and take one step toward healing or reclaiming that part of yourself. You'll find strength in the journey. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and share what this connection taught you or how you're finding yourself through the loss. If this video touched your heart, give it a like and subscribe to Ageless Philosophies for more insights to support your growth. Here's to finding yourself through the love you couldn't keep.